What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You are here with Guni for the first episode of the transfer news series. I did promise you lot that I will be continuing on with content. Although this season is done, I will be continuing with the transfer stories. And also there is a Champions League final that needs to be played. I know Chelsea are not in it, but Real Madrid and all of that good stuff. Don't want to see Liverpool winning that. We're definitely going to cover that over here on Man Knows Football. But this obviously is going to be about transfers, and not just Chelsea transfers, but transfers all across Europe. We're going to be reporting on the big transfers. We're going to be talking about transfer rumours as well. But before I do get into the content, please make sure you do smash up that subscribe button. I believe we are under 700 subscribers away from the ultimate goal of 10k. Yes, we are almost at the finish line, so it's even more important now that you continue to share and just continue to hit that subscribe button. Also smash the like button as well, and even more importantly, leave your thoughts down there in the comments. And if you do feel generous and want to donate to the channel, there's also a super thanks button there. Thank you to those that have hit that button. It really does help out the channel. So if any more of you want to do that, feel free. If you can't or you don't want to, a like, a comment, all of that other stuff is just as appreciated, man. So big up everybody that has been supporting the platform first and foremost. But let's get into it. I have been doing some more research this morning, and if you haven't seen the video that I did yesterday, it was just basically talking about Todd Boehly finally getting the deal over the line with Clear Lake Consortium, and just a matter of an official announcement from Chelsea Football Club to say that the takeover has been fully completed and that we are able to operate like a normal club. Sanctions have been lifted, the lights are on, we can make a move in the transfer market. But that's not to say because we've been sanctioned, Chelsea have just been sitting on their hands and not been planning ahead for the season coming up, because that would be an absolute disaster. Like I said to you in the video before, it's not just Chelsea that would like top four or even quote unquote challenge for the league, which I still think we're very far away from. You know, there's still Manchester City and Liverpool. We got to think about closing the gap on them. Tottenham, they look like they're going to be getting some money. They've got a very, very serious manager, and Conte just made top four as well, thanks to Arsenal bottling it, and they recruit well. So we've got to keep an eye out for them. Manchester United are basically gutting out their backroom staff. They've just hired Erik ten Hag as well, a manager that comes with a very, very good reputation, but still remains to be seen what he can do in the Premier League. But with the reshuffle of the backroom staff, it definitely looks like Manchester United are trying to change things a little bit, and definitely for the better. So we've got to keep an eye out on them. You get me? And Arsenal, yes, I know that they are not in the Champions League, but that's one that we should definitely not take them for granted, because they have been recruiting well in terms of youngsters. Yes, some of their signings have been absolutely terrible, but they are investing in their squad, and we cannot get left behind this transfer window, because the gap is just going to get further and further, and we're just going to end up finishing lower and lower down the table. So that brings me on to transfers, and this morning I have been looking at Sai and Dan Talk Chelsea. If you don't know about Sai and Dan Talk Chelsea, please, their link is down there in the description. Very, very informative stuff, very reputable journalists, one of them being Simon Phillips. I'm not too sure who the Dan guy is, but I do hear that he is also very, very reputable as well. So Dan, if you do see this, apologies, but I do rate you lot's content, man, hence why we're using it for your for this video. But they have been discussing potential transfer targets that Chelsea are very much interested in. I'm going to start with the obvious one first. Yes, we have seen Jules Koundé in London. Sevilla will be looking for 50 million euros at least for the target, and it seems that Chelsea are happy to pay that price for Jules Koundé. So that one really is pretty much a formality. Again, similar to the takeover situation, it's just about Chelsea, you know, getting the sanctions lifted, paying the money, and just announcing the deal. So that one is pretty much nailed on. Also as well, because we're going to be losing a lot of seniority, we're going to be losing a lot of experience. Koulibaly, although rumours on it in the media has gone a little bit dry, but Koulibaly, from what I understand and from what Sai and Dan are saying in their articles, is very, very high on the list. And I do agree that we must replace experience with experience. Kalidou Koulibaly, we do know, is a quality centre back, has been for many years at Napoli, should have got a move years and years ago, but ADL did price him out of the move. You know, top clubs were in for him. Real Madrid, Chelsea, we've been interested in him with Manchester United. So, you know, the elite clubs have been in for him in the past. But right now, as you know, his contract situation is coming to an end at Napoli. So they have to do something about it, and they are resigned to losing him this summer. But he has been offered to Chelsea Football Club, and it does seem like he is one of the high priorities up on the list. That is a signing that I would be very, very happy with. Again, we are going to be losing Rudiger, potentially Azpilicueta. Alonso looks like he'll be walking out of the door. Although I agree, 2 out of the 3 should be moving on from Chelsea Football Club. They are still senior players who have won everything at Chelsea Football Club. So them walking out of the door, whether you like it or not, is going to be a big miss. But a character like Koulibaly, who's got his Ivory Coast teammate in Edouard Mendy, who will be playing obviously in goal just behind him. So there is a little bit of chemistry there, and they have just come back from winning an AFCON as well, so they can work well together. So hopefully the transition there, if this still does happen, will be quite seamless. I've got no doubt about the man's quality. I've got no doubt about the man's leadership. Koulibaly, very, very, very physical player, very strong, built for the Premier League if you want to look at it that way. Times his tackles excellently, still has very, very good pace for a 31-year-old centre back. Not that 31 is old, but still has very, very good pace. Position wise is very good, very, very difficult to beat that defender as well, and very good aerially, wins a lot of his aerial battles. So that definitely will be a great coup for Chelsea Football Club. Now we're going to move on to the midfield positions. And this is one that I completely wrote off. But the fact that Aurélien Tchouameni has already come out, well, his agent has already come out and said that his preference is to go to Real Madrid. This actually does make it feasible, especially if we're talking about getting a marquee signing into Chelsea Football Club, which, you know, we've heard whispers of, you know, Todd Bowley being very supportive of Thomas Tuchel building a squad in his own image, quote unquote. But I believe more that building a squad with an identity that can play together, something that's more long term. Do you know what I'm saying? So look, I'm not wishing for it to happen, but if Thomas Tuchel does leave a season or 2 down the line, the next manager that comes in isn't just dealing with a cocktail of players from 6 different managers, which is what we're currently dealing with now. So I really do believe that there's a possibility Chelsea will sign Declan Rice this summer. I do believe now. I know a lot of you are saying, oh, West Ham are quoting £150 million, £120 million, but according to Sai and Dan, there are rumours that Chelsea believe a deal can get done this summer, and obviously I don't see us paying 100 mil or 150 mil for him, but I could believe around the region of between 80 to 90 million pounds could be the magic number to get Declan Rice over at Stamford Bridge. But both Simon Phillips and Dan are reporting that, and you know, they are very well connected journalists. Matt Law is your elite one, but these guys are not too bad themselves. So please, people, let's keep an eye on the whole situation with Declan Rice. Obviously, we know West Ham tried to offer him a ridiculous contract. I think it was like 6 or 8 years or something of 200k a week. We know Declan Rice rejected that because we know where his heart is. His heart is at Chelsea. You know, ex-Cobham boy, his best mate Mason Mount is there. It was his dream to play for Chelsea. I believe also as well, his family are all season ticket holders. So the fact that Tchouameni has gone to Real Madrid, yes, it does hurt my heart. I believe he's an immensely talented, elite potential kind of player, but I also believe that Declan Rice could fit the bill excellently at Chelsea Football Club. He leads by example. There's not enough good things I can say about him. Is exactly what we need in terms of that DM kind of model. He fits that perfectly, and it's also versatile. He can step into the centre-back positions if you need him to, but we know Declan Rice screens the defence very well, also very good on the ball, can pick up a pass, picks up his head, and picks players very, very quickly. Something that we need. We have suffered and lacked in transition a lot this season. You know, players holding on to the ball for too long, not being technically good enough to put the ball in the space where they want it to go, therefore taking several seconds longer. By then you've got players that are already marking players, getting back into position. So the transition, the attack is dead. So to have a player like Declan Rice there, you know, who's also going to plug that hole in midfield, because how many times have we been opened up this season? I know with Declan that is not going to happen. So let's keep an eye on that for sure. Another one that Thomas Tuchel really, really wants, but unfortunately it looks like PSG are favourites to get him, is Ousmane Dembele. Ousmane Dembele, for me, I think he's an immensely talented player. Again, potential to be elite. I think he's already got an elite skill set, but what has let him down is his injury record. It has been horrific at Barcelona, but he has seemed to get over that hump. I know it's only one season and we still need to see how he's doing, but he has been playing consistently for Barcelona, has been showing a bit of that form that we all know him for, and he will not be signing a contract at Barcelona. Therefore, he is a free agent, but PSG are very, very much interested in Ousmane Dembele. Obviously, their chairman Mbappe has spoken and said, I want Ousmane Dembele at the club with me, so chances are he'll be going there. But if Ousmane Dembele does want to challenge himself, does want to come to Chelsea Football Club and play with his old manager, which in his own words has described he's played his best ever football under him, Thomas Tuchel has said he is the most naturally gifted player that he's played with, then there is space at Chelsea. I'm not sure what he's going to be asking for with wages. I know it's going to be absolutely inflated, him being a free agent with the level of talent that he is. Probably looking at north of 350 to close to 400k a week. Whether Chelsea will pay that under this new regime remains to be seen, but still, I'm very, very excited with being linked with him. If he can stay fit, I believe that's a masterstroke signing, and we'll be talking about him being the best winger in the Premier League if he does come to Chelsea and stay fit. And also, as well, you've got the situation with Romelu Lukaku. Although we're not really expecting anything to happen there, it's going to be a difficult deal to get done. But if something does get done, apparently we are looking at Darwin Núñez from Benfica, and I know quite a few people have, you know, they're not too sure about him. They're saying he's another Lukaku. I think he's very much more technical than that. He's still young, big guy, Uruguayan as well. Listen, there's still things about his game that he needs to fix, but he is still only 22 years old. Let's remember that. There is time for him to develop. So if Lukaku does leave, we do need a striker coming in. Erling Haaland has just gone to Manchester City. Kylian Mbappe is staying at PSG. If there's anybody else out there you would like to see Chelsea linked with in that striker position, let me know down there in the description. But let's go back to outgoings, because that's going to be very important, and it's also going to affect our transfer budget, because remember the article that Matt Law came out with, and a lot of people took it as, wow, Todd Bowley's going to give us 200 million. But there was a key word that was missed out, and that key word is key sentence. Factoring in some anticipated player sales, Thomas Tuchel is expected to have around 200 million at his disposal in the transfer market, as the £4.25 billion takeover has now been rubber stamped by all parties, including England's top tier. That is taken from Matt Law's article. So the key thing that was said here is factoring in some anticipated player sales. So that 200 million completely, from what I'm seeing, it depends on what we get going out the door. Now, people, don't worry, we've already got several players that are guaranteed to leave. Although Rudiger's one I didn't want to see, he will be leaving, freeing up the wage bill. Also, Christensen will be leaving, freeing up the wage bill. Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso are negotiating their way out of the door as well. So that's potentially 4 players. There's a situation with Jorginho, whether he's going to go to Serie A. That's 5 players. Kante's contract's not been renewed, but I do think that it will be renewed. That's 6 players. And then also you've got the likes of Timo Werner and Christian Pulisic and Ziyech, who are open to leaving the club. So I do believe that we will get quite a bit of deadwood out the door. So that does explain the 200 million that is quote unquote going to be given to Thomas Tuchel. Is it doable? Absolutely. And are we dependent on being sustainable this transfer window? From what I hear, and referring to Simon and Dan, we don't need to be. We can spend. We do have the funds to spend. But let's, like I said, act like a big club. Marina, don't penny pinch. We've got to take losses on some of these players. The most important thing is that we free up the wage space, we free up the spaces in the team, and we bring in top quality, and maybe use some of these youngsters that we rate so much instead of having to sacrifice them so another player can come in. Yeah, how about we do that? But big up yourselves. Thank you very much for tuning in to the first episode of Transfer News. Make sure you do like, share the video as well, subscribe. We are on the road to 10k, almost there, under 700 away from making it happen. So people, please continue to do that. Please continue to share. I can't wait to get over that 10k line. Also, leave your thoughts down there in the comments, and if you do feel generous, make sure you smash that super thanks button so you can donate and help this channel. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please make sure you do stay safe. Bless.